Good afternoon. In my last homily about a month ago, I mentioned I did a self-guided walking retreat of Rome, and I walked about 125 miles over a 2-week period. Well, Father Stephen has given me a new nickname, Marathon Walker. One afternoon during my retreat, I decided to walk up the Aventine Hill. It's a very, very steep hill, but you get up to the top, there's a park, and you get this beautiful, magnificent view of Rome and the surrounding area. And I stopped in at several of the churches up at the top, and I prayed. But situated among the churches in this park was a large house, actually. It's a villa, a estate. And it had this huge arched green door out at front. And I noticed some people going up to this huge green door and looking through a tiny little keyhole like this, about that big. I decided that I was going to go look, find out what they were peering through. It was stunning and magnificent. This is what I saw. Perfectly aligned through that keyhole and through the hedgerows of this villa or a house and the rooftops of Rome was St. Peter's Basilica. Amazing. And I was overwhelmed by the thought that this beautiful and magnificent basilica was built over the tomb of a simple, imperfect, ordinary fisherman from Galilee. Despite his limitations and denials, and at times lack of faith, Peter is truly the rock upon which our church has been built, both physically and spiritually, for nearly 2,000 years. Empires and nation states, they come and they go, including the great Roman Empire. And yet the Church of Jesus Christ, built on the rock of Peter, survives and will continue to survive. And as I walked along, today's scripture passage came to mind, and the question that Jesus put to his apostles, which is perhaps one of the most important questions in Scripture. But who do you say that I am? We in the 21st century might take Peter's response for granted, perhaps thinking, shouldn't it be obvious? Yet it was a bold and courageous statement by Peter when he said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." These words changed the course of salvation history. It changed Peter's life forever and established the firm rock for Christ's church to be built upon. This question, "But who do you say that I am?" was posed by Jesus to his apostles near Caesarea Philippi, a city built on a rock and dedicated to the Roman Emperor Caesar, who considered himself a god and even taken on the title Prince of Peace. This image is what it looks like today. It's just an ancient ruin, but I want you to imagine Jesus with his apostles standing at this spot 2,000 years ago, speaking to them with this enormous rock wall rising and towering over the landscape, and you have the great city of Caesarea Philippi built up on the top. And located at the base of that rock, you can barely see it, are temples to pagan gods, containing this enormous cave with an endless depth called the gates to the netherworld. It is here that Jesus tells Simon his name will be Peter, which means rock in Greek. He will build his church on this rock, and that the gates of the netherworld will not prevail. Looking through that keyhole on the top of Aventine Hill in Rome provided me with a new and deeper perspective regarding the boldness and the courage of Peter. First, to proclaim, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God," in front of those pagan temples at Caesarea Philippi. And then to bring the gospel into the heart of the mighty pagan world, Rome itself. And reflecting on my own personal experience, it seems that often in our lives, especially our spiritual lives, it's not easy to see and to focus on important items. That the noise of contemporary life with its fears and anxieties and disappointments can overwhelm us. And like Peter, we are just simple, ordinary, imperfect people. Yet we all need a keyhole to help us focus on what is truly important, what really matters, and through it, we can see God's grace operating in our lives. The question by Jesus, "But who do you say that I am?" is not just for the apostles, but it's for you and me also. Jesus is inviting us to look through the keyhole of our lives, to search deep within our hearts to answer this question for ourselves. It's an invitation to follow Jesus in the footsteps and path of Peter, the rock on which our church is built. You know, God worked wonders with Peter, the man whose hands were calloused and filthy from fishing and hauling nets. If God can work wonders in a simple fisherman, he can work wonders in us too. If Jesus were here today, standing right here at this podium, and if he asked us, "But who do you say that I am?" what would we say? The answer we give him will tell us much about who we are and what it means to be his disciple. As we receive the Eucharist this afternoon and then head out those church doors out into the world, may we live the answer as Peter did, proclaiming with courage and conviction in words and deeds for all the world to hear and to see that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. God bless you.